staying in that realm because there's this dance with fame and all of those spots. Gee, you had two of my favorite subjects of the week that I completely forgot about. Um, the Sada baby shit, and then the Steph and Aisha shit. Like that fame shit, bro. We got to talk about that because from my estimation, bro, what I'm seeing is that the fame, but specifically grown ass men and what they're willing to do in and around the perception of fame. Whoo, that shit seems so deadly, bro. Uh, the false equivalent with freedom that exists around it is I think is the most polarizing part of that equation. And so when I think about somebody as insanely talented as Sada Baby, um, and just how that thing works, how that machine works, in these thoughts, these ideas, and how little value we place on our presence. And so you're just liable to say something because you don't value this presence shit at all. Um, you really own the concept, like, yo, I could be famous, nigga, so I'm gonna say anything just to get it lit and go fuck being present right now, and unraveling and problem solving this in real time. So I'm gonna just say anything. When I saw the tweets of Sada, well, I ask you first, G, how did what happened first for you? Like, did you hear about it? Did you see it? Did you even read all of them? How did you experience Sada Baby? For those who don't know, Detroit rapper Sada Baby, fucking insanely talented. Insanely talented. Freak put me on during tour at the golly. Freak put me on during tour. Um, that was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and we just I just couldn't stop listening because I don't think I'd heard anything like that. It was just kind of, again, polarizing, and watching his ascension, and then we get back from tour, champagne party at Teen's house, and then as we're listening to Pimp, it was like a
Damn.
Yeah, you're breaking
this
out, man.
this is the dude, like, this is the dude.
You
Damn,
you was, bre-
again,
you was breaking out. You was breaking out, man.
my bad, I'm back.
Yeah, you back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. This internet, everything. What is the last thing you heard?
Freak was on tour 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, tour. We get back from tour, champagne party at Teen's house. We're listening to Pip Name Drip That. Sudi called Sato on FaceTime, and it was like, that's the guy. And so just watching his ascension, watching how fast it is, and watching people interact with it, go, damn, how is this street nigga gonna cross over? And then whole lot of choppers breaks last week. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot of choppers breaks, and then as it's breaking,
Bro, that
they're
it was
digging up his tweets
simultaneous.
simultaneously. Yeah.
Simultaneous,
Gee,
bro. You got people that just be waiting, bro. Like, hey, you take off if you
do
want
you,
to,
you think? Hey, you think they had that folder ready already?
Oh, they did.
bro.
Yeah.
That's a full time job. Like for folks to see like who's
Yo,
coming, who's next, and who
the
just might
Crusaders.
just oh man. So they already got that on the that's already ready to go.
And the fucked up thing is, a lot of them don't be caring about shit. A lot of them be trying to extort the person. They be in their DMs. Look, we about to put out these old tweets unless you pay us.
Probably. I'm pretty sure
But what
that's
is
a part
that?
of it.
But what does that do for you?
Uh, that's just trying to get a little money under the table. Other than that, it's just creating this wall storm. I think people get a gratification out of just doing that, like just having it be where everybody's talking about it, and it ain't got to come back to you necessarily, but that's just how sick you are as an individual. That somehow, some way, you feel like that's you did that. You might be able to
So
tell
you
people
so
around you that you probably can get credit for the people around you. Like, I'm the one that started that shit. Look, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that on a scale, like on a wide scale, it ain't that big of a deal. But people will do less for just a little bit of attention. It don't matter from
that's-
who. It's just they'll do less, bro. Then
what
something this big, then keep doing things this big. You know what I mean? Where that's enough for them. For some people, that get
what's
zero attention.
what's the how did fame turn into a commodity? I guess is the real
Shit.
question.
Anything is a quantity that people put enough into. Like as long as there's people that become famous, that only give you the like what the perks of fame. As long as there's people that are in constant pursuit of fame, uh, just for like we had a while ago the 15 minutes of fame shit. As long as there's people that still want that, everybody wants that now. So as long as there's enough of a stock in it, then it's going to be something that you can monetize. As long as labels want you to get hot first, you know what I mean, before you hit their door, then
Go get hot real quick.
go get hot, man.
I got just the thing. Talk about killing Beyonce. What? How does your brain go? Oh man, it's heartbreaking.
Can I ask
Isn't
you
like
guys a question?
isn't like a natural thought that your brain just comes to just put out there to the world. You know what I mean? Like I doubt that that's the case. I think that's literally fire this off real quick and have a few people talk about it, drop something, they associate the two, and then that shit becomes hot. And then never thinking that you'll ever be TikTok hot. You know what I mean? Like you didn't think TikTok was gonna
Never
fire
even
you off.
considered that.
Never even considered that.
So
TikTok wasn't even
have
around at that time. You know what I mean?
true. So maybe that's not the right question to ask.
I have a question to ask.
Go ahead.
Do you guys think it might also have to do with the fact that people want to be next to something great? Like,
How so in this capacity? How does that apply to this?
okay, for example, like, know how Elle said they get to be the person in their circle saying they're the ones that quote unquote expose Sada baby.
I
So
see.
now their name is next to something as great as him. Like they feel like in some strange way that they're the same.
Yeah, that could fire off to the whole pass or having sex with the same group of people. You know what I mean? Like wanting to go and mess with the same chick that somebody else messed with.
Yeah.
Just because
Oh.
just to associate the names with each other,
Yeah.
compare and contrast from there. It could be the same.
Way to call it back, Al.
What to call
Hey,
it
you feel
back?
me? You feel me?
um,
I like before we get to more about the fame stuff, the two things that Dave said that was just like,
oh yeah.
bro, just so appreciative of just a Dave mind and being able to go to Ohio and be himself. But he said that the more you invest into yourself as a celebrity, the less of yourself you get to own. That shit is dire for anybody that's putting stock in the celebrity portion of things. You know what I mean? Like folks they like being the status of it because you get access to things that you otherwise would not get access to. So that part of it is perfectly fine. It's just more so trying to leverage the celebrity because the more you continuously have to put into that portion of things, the less you can actually be able to say, the less you can actually be able to do, the less you can actually be able to be a part of in front of the public eye. You know what I mean? Like, you can do all kinds of shit behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like only some people only the Will Smiths of the world will give you access to what they're actually doing behind the scenes sometimes.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like when he was doing the whole sword thing in the restaurant for the champagne or the wine bottle or whatever. The shit that the staff would let them do, like that shit that celebrity allow you to do, but you would never know if that's what they're allowing them to do inside the spots, you know what I mean? And then the other thing was, and for him specifically, it is something that people that are gravitating towards fame should probably start thinking about their pockets of places that they are not famous in. You know what I mean? Like it, and he said, "Fame evaporates with regularity." Bro, that was 4 words that was so effective. So him being back home allows him to, the rest of the public doesn't treat him as Dave. He was like, bro, the people was probably here for you more than they're
For
here for
you,
me.
yeah, that's what he said. He's like,
Yeah,
so
like
they
these
know
mother-
me. They here for you. Man,
like bro, like I'll be around, bro. Like they see me on a regular. I'm not the famous Dave around here. You know what I'm saying?
such a beautiful mind, bro. That entire exchange was like just so many gems like that both that and the yay shit. Like I just at certain points you do have to start taking notes because it's that many. It's like a world
Completely,
class
completely.
seminar that you're like, yo, why do I get access to this? And I wonder. I was gonna go. I had one more question about the Sada shit. Is like, because you said something to you like, yo, you don't know you're gonna be TikTok hot. But is there do you do things like that? Granted, it's trolling. You want to create a moment. But are you also in a space of like, man, this shit ain't gonna ever work? Is that why you say stuff like that too, like subconsciously? Because it's like at some point you're gonna have to answer for that shit, right? But what if you don't? What if you don't believe this shit could really take off the way that it is taking off for him? What if he always knew? It's one thing to know you tight. It's another thing to know that you're gonna ascend and occupy those spaces where you'll be able to leverage how tight you think you are.
Bro, you gotta witness people's backgrounds, bro. Like where some people are coming from, there's no real belief that you're going to be any level hotter than just in your local area. You know what I mean? Like that's not really fathomable, even though you can try to act as if there is such larger. You know, like when you are a local artist, um, you're come across with the mentality as if you're larger than the local space in order to get there. But you never really know if you're going to be larger in local space. That's up to the public to tell you. I mean, to let you know if that's going to be the case. You know what I mean? Like you can't really, or somebody could push a button on you, but that's not really you gravitate or just moving over into like the public atmosphere. Like sometimes that shit just happens, and when that shit happens, you better hope that you was true to yourself the entire time. Like I hope that Sada was true to himself in that moment. Like he said what he said after the fact, and that's kind of when you asked me what part did I come in on, and the part that I came in on was this first response to everybody talking about it, and him saying that he doesn't work his account, he hasn't been on his account or anything like that, yeah, and brushing it off, you know. And then the secondary one, I still hadn't seen the tweets, but the secondary one of him going into a more of an apologetic route because of the status that he occupies now.
Is it? What do you think that phone call was? It's like,
Oh,
and how long do you
bro,
think it took them to convince him that he had to fake apologize because he still didn't apologize.
right. It was just a little bit further along than his first one. I'll say, shit. You remember watching Kevin Hart's documentary, and when he had the whole scandal go on, and how stubborn he was to listening to the fact that he was wrong in any kind of way, to the point where he was like, "Bro, like I get what y'all saying, but I have no ill intent or malice about this, and I don't give a fuck about what the public is talking about right now." You know what I mean? But at some point, it registered that, my nigga, you have more than just you to deal with right now. You know what I mean? Like this isn't a Kev onslaught right now. This is literally you have people working for you on a constant basis that are also going to be affected in this particular moment. You know what I mean? So,
Don't you dare start playing with nobody money. You gonna apologize,
bro,
regardless of
that's
what you
it.
say.
That's it.
You gonna say sorry right now to Beyonce and everything.